quieter story of the prophet Nahum and the fall of Nineveh. In the days when the Assyrian Empire was at the height of its power, the Lord raised up the prophet Nahum to deliver a message of judgment against its capital, Nineveh. This was the same city that had repented at the preaching of Jonah more than a century earlier. However, the people of Nineveh had returned to their wicked ways, and now their time of reckoning had come. Nahum's prophecy is a powerful declaration of God's justice and his sovereignty over the nations. Nahum began his prophecy by describing the character of God. He said, "The Lord is a jealous and avenging God. The Lord takes vengeance and is filled with wrath. The Lord takes vengeance on his foes and vents his wrath against his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger but great in power. The Lord will not leave the guilty unpunished. Though God is patient, he will not tolerate sin forever." The Assyrians had oppressed many nations, including Israel, and their cruelty had not gone unnoticed by the Lord. The prophet vividly depicted the coming destruction of Nineveh. He described the city as a place of bloodshed, lies, and plunder. He said, "Woe to the city of blood, full of lies, full of plunder, never without victims." The Assyrians had been ruthless in their conquests, showing no mercy to their enemies. But now, the tables would be turned. Nahum declared, "The Lord has given a command concerning you, Nineveh. You will have no descendants to bear your name. I will destroy the images and idols that are in the temple of your gods. I will prepare your grave, for you are vile." Nahum painted a dramatic picture of the siege and fall of Nineveh. He spoke of the noise of whips, the clatter of wheels, galloping horses, and jolting chariots. He described the city's defenses being breached, its gates torn open, and its palace collapsing in ruin. The once mighty city would be plundered, its treasures taken, and its people carried into exile. Nahum declared, "Nothing can heal you. Your wound is fatal. All who hear the news about you clap their hands at your fall, for who has not felt your endless cruelty?" The fall of Nineveh was not just a political or military event, it was an act of divine judgment. Nahum emphasized that the Lord was the one bringing about the city's destruction. He said, "The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. But with an overwhelming flood, he will make an end of Nineveh. He will pursue his foes into the realm of darkness." The Assyrians had trusted in their own strength and their false gods, but they would soon discover that no one can stand against the Lord. Nahum's prophecy also contained a message of hope for the people of Judah. The Assyrians had been a constant threat, oppressing God's people and causing great suffering. But Nahum assured them that the Lord would break the yoke of Assyria and restore his people. He said, "Although they have allies and are numerous, they will be destroyed and pass away. Though I have afflicted you, Judah, I will afflict you no more." The Lord would bring peace and security to his people, freeing them from fear and oppression. The story of Nahum and the fall of Nineveh reminds us of God's justice and his sovereignty over the nations. It shows that no empire, no matter how powerful, can stand against the Lord. It also challenges us to examine our own lives and consider whether we are trusting in God or relying on our own strength and resources. Nahum's prophecy points to the ultimate fulfillment of God's justice in Jesus Christ, who will one day return to judge the world and establish his eternal kingdom. It encourages us to trust in the Lord's goodness and to find refuge in him, even in times of trouble. And it reminds us that the Lord is a God of both justice and mercy, who cares for those who put their trust in him. Through Nahum's story, we are inspired to live with faith and confidence, knowing that the Lord is in control and that his purposes will prevail. It calls us to honor God, to seek his justice, and to trust in his promises, no matter how dark the world may seem.